Hello, I'm Jorge Molina.
And I'm Molina Castillo,
We're immigration attorneys based in Dallas, Fort Worth.
offering services worldwide.
Today, we're going to be talking about President Biden's new announcement on border management and some of the related regulations to that announcement. But first, Lorena is going to talk to us about how the announcement works.
So the migrants who are caught illegally crossing the US border could be quickly deported or turned back to Mexico and denied asylum under the new restrictions announced by President Joe Biden on June 4th. The new measures will take in effect immediately and will have exceptions for unaccompanied children, people who face serious medical or safety threats, and trafficking victims. The restrictions are not permanent and will activate when the border arrest exceeds a daily average of 2,500 over a week, and pausing when arrests drop below 1,500 per day. Unaccompanied children are excluded from these calculations. Migrants free to return to their home countries will be screened for humanitarian protection, but could still be deported and face a 5-year penalty entry and potential criminal prosecution if denied.
Okay, so this announcement works in tandem with some regulations announced by the Biden administration. Okay, so the most recent one says that an asylum officer, who, by the way, is not a lawyer. Okay, these are agents for USCIS. Okay, now could determine whether a particular bar applies where even if you have credible fear, you cannot get asylum in the United States. So there's some typical bars that, that have been in the books for a very long time. For example, if you're suspected of terrorism, or if you would be a danger to the United States, or if you yourself persecuted people, right? Those are bars for asylum. But there's a new rule, all right? There's a new rule, and it's the circumvention of lawful pathways rule. And it says, in essence, 3 things. So if you do not enter through a port of entry, through CBP, now we have this regulation, right, that says that they can't allow more than 2,500 people through a port of entry on a given day, right? So if you're, because of metering, right, they're counting people, and your life is at risk in Mexico because there's, it's infested with criminals in the border, and if you cross between ports of entry, that's a reason to deny your credible fear and your asylum. That's 1. 2, if you have another way of entering the United States. So let's say a relative can petition you, even though you have years to wait. That's a reason to deny it. Or if you're from one of the countries like Cuba, Nicaragua, Venezuela, or Haiti, where you have a program designated for parole, right? And you don't follow that path of that process for whatever reason, that's another reason to deny you. Or if you cross through a third country, let's say you're from Guatemala and go through Mexico and you didn't seek asylum, or if you sought asylum, it was not denied, that's another reason for them to deny your asylum claim under the regulations. So if you put everything together, practically speaking, what's going to happen is that a non-lawyer is going to make very specific legal determinations denying you your right to seek asylum in the United States because you could not wait in your home country for a parole authorization anymore, which, by the way, because there's millions and millions of people waiting for an answer in those cases. So what ends up happening is very similar to what we have under the Trump administration, except that this is a stronger way of doing things because it's being done through the regulatory system. So it's more sophisticated and very likely harder to stay through the courts. However, we are hoping that a lawsuit will stop the implementations of these rules and the new way of processing cases. Now, folks, if you're considering coming to the United States illegally, or you have a loved one making this determination, before they do so, consult with an experienced immigration attorney that understands these rules and can explain to you what could happen if you make that decision. Again, my name is Jorge Molina.
And I'm Lorena Castillo.
Thank you for watching.